Hey guys, welcome back to Vintage Custom. So today we're going to do a garage kit review on this DXA Designs Harbinger of Fate garage kit, which is actually Nate Gray from Age of Apocalypse, which I am just ecstatic that this came in. I can't wait to pop them out of their box. This is a holy grail for me, so when I found out that they were making him and I saw it, I jumped on it right away. This is definitely going in my display case as a centerpiece because he is my favorite mutant character of all time. So I pretty much want to go through it all and just show you guys how it's looking. As you can tell right away, it's packed up very well. So this is the clear power for behind him, and in here is one hand that's powered up in clear resin, as you can see, and then we have another hand over there. So I'm going to try to pop out all these parts, and I'm actually going to put him on the table instead of trying to go sift through the box like this because I don't want to break anything. I just want to make sure everything's looking good and just make sure he displays pretty well. The box is actually bigger than I expected. So either he's bigger than I expected or they packed him so well that the box makes sure things don't get damaged. But so far, I have two in my hand now. Definitely one for me, and I'll be painting up some others for other people. But so far, this one box I opened, there's nothing really broken on it from what I can tell. It's looking very durable. So I think they did a really good job with the clear resin. I mean, I can tell already it's not like a yellowish tint to it. So that should actually work out pretty well. Even though his powers are yellow. But, you know, so far it's looking pretty good. So we'll stop the camera. I'll try to get a lot of the parts out on the table. And we'll kind of look over him and see how well he came out. Okay, so here is Nate all pieced out of the box. Now, as far as everything goes of casting and how everything fits together, it's beautiful. It's just amazing what they did. They did an absolutely amazing job. Everything connects very well. There's really nothing to be like sanded down or patched up. You know, I went looking through all the parts. I'm not really seeing any major seam lines. There is a little bit of a mess, I guess, because it's kind of where they might have done the one part mold. You know, maybe around here. But since his arm is like this in the statue, you really won't see it that much. But other than that, everything looks great. But as far as ownage goes, their statues are amazing. They piece it together amazing, but they never use strong magnets. And that is one of the downsides of ownage, is the magnets are always poor, and most of the time I wind up getting the N52 magnets and replace the magnets anyway. Now for him especially, what's going to happen is, since these legs are casted up separate and from the torso, I'm going to wind up taking out these magnets and make him one solid statue anyway when I paint him, because that makes life easier and it makes him more durable and stronger, because you don't want a statue that's completely magnetized wobbling all over your item. Because if you have a statue that's all magnetized, you know, these magnets are probably going to lose their power over time, because these are probably like the, I think, what is it, the N30s or 40 magnets are weaker, and I could tell these are those weaker ones. The N52s are the strongest ones. Then the N50s are kind of a little bit less, but anything lower than those, you're asking for trouble, especially with holding like big resin pieces like this. So it's always better to either go the extra step and get the stronger magnets on a kit if you want them all pieced to get unpieced, or just do it the correct way and have them one solid statue. But that's just the way it is. Now, one of the things that concerns me, but I think they did this in the factory, I'm not really sure. I think what they said is they definitely wanted a rod going up the ankle and stuff to make sure that it was secured. So I think they might have bent this rod and have it cast it up here at least. At least I'm pretty sure that's what they said. I'm not 100% sure, but I hope so, because I would like to make sure that, you know, these rods kind of go upwards. If they don't, even though it's two legs, it kind of connects in. It should be durable, but I'm always paranoid with my statues and any kind of kits I build. I want to make sure that rods and everything are really making pieces secured. So whenever I build these up for me or people, these magnets are coming out and I'm putting in stronger ones. So let's kind of start putting him together, and I'll kind of show you how things go on him. The pieces fit beautiful, as you can see. They're just like flawless. But you can see there's a little bit of wobbliness to it. So if you have a little bit of wobbliness here, and then when you put this leg on, if it's a little bit wobbly here, you know, and you have him on your statue, say you're cleaning one day, maybe you go to move him, or maybe somebody goes to move it for you and they don't realize all this stuff is magnets, and these magnets start losing their power, this thing just topples all over the place. That's what you don't want to run into. So that's one of the downsides. But with that being said, I did put him together just to make sure things work out, and he does go in very well. It's just a little bit tricky here. So like what I would have to do is sort of put these legs together before I actually start painting him up to make sure he slides in, because right now he only slides in when the legs aren't completely there. They go in, it's a little bit tricky. So like if you put this one in and this one in, then the legs fit in. But I don't like that, because you can see he wobbles. That's not a good sign. So I would try to set this up in a way where I would attach these legs on, and I can maybe, if I have to redo the keys a little bit, I can kind of slide him in and he'll be secured. Now, once this is secured, I really don't see him like warping over time. This seems to be really good durable stuff. So if I put 2 metal rods in these legs here when I put it together, he should be set for a long time. See, if he was only 1 rod in the leg and this rod wasn't there in that one, then I would be concerned over time, just like ankle not supporting him. But since there's 2 things there, it should be pretty good. But with that being said, everything's beautiful. Like look at this body, the zipper is casted up amazing. I'm not seeing any broken teeth. You got to be very careful with this piece right here. That might break though. But you can see even underneath here, it's very clean. Nice detail around the cape, everything. So looks pretty good. So he goes on that part like so. So we'll start bringing up a little bit more. The head kind of tricked me out. So there's a little clear piece for his eye, for the glowing eye. That's over there. I gotta be very careful with it. I'm not gonna mess with it. I don't want to break it. But when I pulled him out of the box, I'm like, oh man, they glued the front hair to him. I'm like, damn, that's gonna be a pain to paint. But sure enough, it's actually not attached. So this could be painted up white. This will be the brown. And then you could just glue this in at the end. And then boom. Be easier to paint like that. So the face is really sculpted great. I really like it. It's got that Ian Churchill style to it. So that should work out pretty good. When he fits into the upper body, it's a little bit tricky. But don't really need to do a change of magnet on the head. You can leave that separate. That's not the end of the world. So that works out pretty well. Definitely the arms. Sculpted great. Not seeing any flashing, as you can see. But these arms are definitely going to get better magnets, because I really don't like the way these kind of sit in here. I mean, they're kind of like, they do connect decently, but I'll probably change them anyway. I like to make sure that when these magnets go in, they're not coming out unless you really pry them. Now, his clear power hands came out really well too. So, no issues with these. Nice and clean. Magnets are fairly strong on these. They're not the best, but I think they fit in here very well. So when you get a clear resin like this piece, this part still will always be magnetized. You know, like even if it kind of loses its magnet, it's still going to be a piece of metal. So what I'll probably do is get stronger magnets in here, but not really chop up any of this resin and mess this up, because this is fine the way it is. But if there's a nice stronger magnet in here, I wouldn't have to worry about this falling out over time. So that's one thing to kind of think about. You don't always have to replace every magnet, but so I know this hand goes in there, but I'm doing it at a weird angle. So let's pop out the hand and make sure I'm putting this in correctly. It's actually the wrong hand, that's why. But yeah, so that fits in there very well. And this arm fits in here very well too. So yeah, I'll definitely pull out the magnets in the wrists in the gray resin, and then I'll replace those. So those should be fine once that's done. And this one fits in really well too. So beautiful, beautiful kit. Definitely bigger than what I expected, but that's kind of like the size of these things. And we'll kind of get over here for a little bit, so we kind of show you how everything's looking on them. So, love the detail, love the pose. He's got a nice little, you know, definitely shows his abilities and powers, like he's powering up. You know, we got, you know, basically something that's close to that. You know, we got the collar, we got the yellow part around his, you know, thing here. We could do the yellow trim there, his belt buckles. This is an earlier version of Nate where he had these straps around his waist. We kind of went with the later version, I guess, with not having it there. But on this version, he doesn't have the yellow leg pieces, but on the later versions, he has these later leg pieces here that are yellow, which kind of like fit him a little bit better. So it's kind of like picking out different pieces of Nate throughout different artists and kind of mash them together, which is kind of cool. Now, his knee pieces are set up a little bit different. They're kind of stylized, which is fine. That works out pretty well. So, but it's awesome. So, I mean, he's straightforward. Outfit's blue, yellow. The base is going to be, you know, like rocks kind of mixing up with a cloud, as you can kind of see down there. And then it's all clear yellow resin. Now, this resin is really good. It's nice crystal clear resin. I don't think it would yellow over time if you needed it clear, but it's going to be painted yellow anyway, so it doesn't matter. But really, really awesome kit. Amazing. Holy grail for me. I may sound like I'm gushing over it, but you know, this is kind of something I've always wanted in my collection. Throughout the years, I've always kind of like looked at statues to convert into Nate Gray for myself, but there was never anything that really fit him because he's kind of more of a teenager and he's not hugely built. And a lot of the other statues out there are really like, you know, built up pretty muscular, so never really found a statue that fit the pose, but this one definitely fits. So the base is nice and heavy. It's very heavy actually. It's not actually light at all. The clear powers will work out pretty well. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a beautiful statue. If you're an Age of Apocalypse fan, or if you're a Cable fan and you want a version of Cable from Age of Apocalypse, this is the younger version. So just an awesome all around. Just the detail, the casting, the pose, and the scale, size, everything is awesome. I know a lot of fans out there are probably more into, you know, your typical Wolverine, Magnetos, and mainstream top tier characters, but I'm a fan of characters that are kind of from alternate universes that don't fit into the main universe and are kind of thrown in there and they got to find their place in the universe. And he was just one of those characters that fit the bill. Plus, everybody wanted to, you know, use him for his powers because he was so over the top of powerful. You know, it's awesome. He actually created Onslaught by pulling Xavier's astral essence out of the astral plane and stuff too. So he's got a lot of history. Now, one of the things I wanted to show, which is awesome, is I'm working on a Captain Marvel premium format statue for myself from the Prime 1 Green Lantern statue. And I always wanted to see how these two fit in scale. And they're pretty much in scale, which looks awesome. So having these two next to each other in my display case or even in the same area is going to be great because I always these are my two favorite characters and definitely going to look awesome together. So pretty cool. So that's pretty much Nate Gray. If you guys are interested, I will put DXA Designs Facebook page link in the description. You guys could go check that out. They might have a few more left when I post this video. I'm not really sure. But if you're an Age of Apocalypse fan and you want to complete a set, like I said, go and snag one. It's a really awesome statue. For me, it's a holy grail. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.